development process. With his expertise and guidance, we are in the for insightful journey into the world of Flutter. Now I will hand it over to Anupam sir to take us through the wonderful world of Flutter. Over to you, sir.
Sure. I wanted to keep this session interactive. I'll request everyone who is serious and wants to attend the session to turn on their videos. Even if they are driving, it's fine. I'll wait for 30 seconds.
Turn on your cameras, please.
30 seconds. Only just ensure that you're wearing clothes, okay? Just ensure that. Okay, you're decent and you're wearing clothes. Just do that. Soumya is traveling. Awesome, Soumya. You can sit in case you're taking a power walk. That's very good. Rashika is joining from e-vehicle, I guess, showcasing what is possible in India and how people are serious. That's very good to see, Rashika. Let's see good stories. The session is very simple. I've not complicated the session, but the session is to talk to you guys and understand your perspective and give my perspective. For that, I need you guys to be human. For you to be human, I need to see your face. Okay. Renu, I guess Renu, I'm already connected. Renu has explored what we have built and given us good feedback also. Same as Priya. I will wait for the folks also. Folks, if you're serious, very simple ask. If you're serious, if you want to talk and understand and have a candid conversation and obviously a technical conversation, please turn on your videos. Get decent and turn it on. If you don't, I'll be only talking to the 3 guys who have turned on their videos. Okay, I'll be talking to Renu, Rashika, and Soumya. For everybody else, the session will not make much sense. Cool, I'll wait for 30 seconds more. Renu, up mute pe. You can turn on your video, turn on your audio also. Sorry. And welcome, Vinita. Welcome to the session. And it seems that you are smiling. You have high expectation. I'll lower them. Don't worry. Cool. I'll assume only 5 people are in the session, and I'll talk to them. Cool, guys. If I'm audible, fine. I'll start with the experience. Who here has any shape and form of experience with mobile application development? Before I talk about myself and everything else. Any shape and form. Renu has some. Renu, the session is interactive. You can simply turn off, unmute yourself and speak.
Actually, sir, I was not able to hear you. I was just setting up my system.
No worries. I'm saying, yeah. Do you have any experience in mobile application development?
So actually, I haven't started. I have already told you I'm not that much into application development. I used to design UIs and all, but I really want to know more about application development. That is why I'm here to know about Flutter too.
Fair enough. Yeah. Vinita, why are you here? And what has been your experience?
Sir, I don't have any experience, just to learn for it. That's why I'm here.
Okay. What about you, Rashika?
I also do not have any experience. Like, we have just started working in college, so I am started to learn, Flutter on a very basic level. I wanted to get into it, but yeah, this is not something that is, in my interested domain, but I, just a skill that you get used to and all that.
Okay, fair enough. So normally this session is not a dumb down of Flutter API, because that you can get from internet and understand. Okay, so I'm not here to give you and talk about a lot of APIs that we use on a daily basis. First, we'll start with based upon the interaction that 3 people will be having because they have their videos on about Flutter. I'll walk you through the journey. I'll give you a brief intro about myself to start off with. So I have been developing mobile application for 10 years now. I started my journey in 2012 like this. I was attending a very small session by a company from HP. HP came to our college and they said, hey, this is something we're building. Android was new back then. We are going to have a session on Android, and this is the intro. And in case you are interested, come to our bootcamp. Learn further. That is when my love with front end started per se. Why I personally like front end, because whatever I did, I can see it immediately. And as a newbie, it felt like magic too. कि hey, मैं बना रहा हूँ, ये दिख रहा है मुझे और ये मैंने बनाया हुआ. I can go proudly and showcase it to my family कि देखो पापा मैंने ये बनाया है, मम्मी देखो मैंने ये बनाया है. And I made good amount of apps with passion. I joined the bootcamp, I learned it, I did well there, I learned Android very deeply, and I made one of the internally famous app which you can click a pic of anybody and you can slap them, and it got viral in college. People were doing that while they were attending sessions, and they were slapping all around in the sessions. All those things happened. My love with front end increased. Then I joined a couple of startups, spent 3 years there, and then I joined another startup, which had done well, which is a one company. I stayed there for 7 odd years. I learned how to build world-class mobile applications. That is the key thing I learned: how to build large-scale engineering systems and how to build world-class mobile applications. And at the end, I realized if I learned all those things, building mobile application and updating them and releasing them really fast is hard. And that is when I started teaching. For example, Priya has some experience what we are doing. That is when we started to simplify it further and further. That has been my journey. Then my journey. Why Flutter? I'll explain you the basics. I have tried whatever you can think of in front end. So I have experience. I spent time in Android, a couple of decent amount of time. Then on iOS, then on something called as PhoneGap, then something called as Xamarin, then something called as React Native, and eventually I landed on Flutter. How Flutter was launched was this: people used to believe cross-platform frameworks are shit. That was the common belief for 10 years. Cross-platform सही है चलता नहीं. Nothing worthwhile can be built. That was the common belief for decent amount of time since the onset of Android and iOS. Flutter came in, Google engineering went like this. They built the same application which was used by Google people and built by Google people in Android, and they built it using Flutter. And they went to the same team, to. Yes, Anand. Anand, you have a question? No, I'll continue. So they went to the same Android team and they asked, can you feel the difference? And they were happy. कि हाँ ये सही लग रहा है, ये तो हमारी ऐप है basically. Then they told them कि hey, this is built by a new platform that we are working on, and that is when things got interesting. Flutter got decent push from the community worldwide, predominantly by Google, and in 2019 with Flutter 2.0, the Flutter ecosystem actually kicked off. I'll showcase. I'll simply showcase what Flutter claims to build on your website. Let's start from there. Okay. What is the core problem that they solve? The core problem that they solve is once you build it, it's available everywhere. Once you build it, it's available on any screen. That's the promise of cross-platform. Okay, the language that it is built is using Dart. Dart is very close to what JavaScript is, and not as rich as Kotlin or Swift UI, Swift, but it's a subset of it. It's still in fancy. But the fundamental difference between what Android is and what Flutter is imperative versus declarative. Earlier, when we used to build Android and iOS apps, we used to build it using XML, create UI, then tag it, do the data binding in the logical code. Flutter changed this, not exactly, but Flutter adopted this. This paradigm was called as declarative paradigm. No worries, Rashika. This paradigm is called as declarative paradigm, which is whatever you want to communicate to the screen, you write it in English. That's why it's called a declarative. It started by React as a framework, and it got adopted in Android and iOS, and then eventually Flutter as a framework. So that has been the journey in terms of the language. In terms of capabilities, I'll showcase a couple of capabilities for you guys to try out right now. Do this. Let's do this. Let's download one application and just talk about it more. Okay. Give me a second. Download Bounce. Whoever is on the call, try to download Bounce. There's an app called as Bounce. Cool. In case you're able to do it, that's okay. If you're not, that's okay. Let's move ahead. I'll share my screen for the presentation. Priya, I guess Priya has already seen this presentation, right, Priya?
Yes, sir.
Cool. It will be a repeat for you. So this is about me, I've already covered. So you might have already thought about what is building apps. With the onset of prompts, you can simply write prompts and you can get the code, correct? Priya, at least you can reply. Okay. So we'll talk about how what is the new age of, we talked about what is the new age of mobile application development.
Yes, sir.
New age of mobile application development is apps built using server. Example, you all have Flipkart in your phone, right? You can answer yes or no at least.
Yes, sir.
And Flipkart runs multiple sales, correct? Around the year big billion days आते रहते हैं उनके. And you will feel whenever you open your app, based upon, let's say if you change your location or do something else, the app changes a lot. It is because the entire app is server driven. And Flipkart was one of the the pioneers to do it in India. But before we get into it, what is mobile app development? Mobile app in a nutshell is very simple. It's a combination of UI and logic. Okay, UI that you see and logic that you execute. Fair enough. Then what is mobile app development? I'm assuming, I'm just taking guess. People don't have experience here, so I'll simplify it further. Let's say I have to create this application. Okay, it's a simple 3-page application, something very similar to news, and this is basically an app which collects all the articles that a student should read. Okay, the landing page, then there is a category of course that you want to read, then there are articles. If I have to create this using the existing form, either on Android or in Flutter, I need to create the UI component. I need to create the data which is key. Hey, this component will store what. Then I need to make an API call, with HTTP call, which will get this data. Then when the response is received, I'll bind that to the data that I've created against a component, and then finally give it for the processing. The problem is that Flutter also solves is this has to be done on Android, iOS, and web, and all three, and it has to be released on all three. But once you release it and something breaks, unfortunately, you cannot revert it back. You all have your phones. You might have received, hey, UI improvements and bug fix, UI improvement and bugs. This is the common theme of various app updates that you receive on your multiple applications, correct? And this is because once you release it, it becomes no point of no return. What is shipped, a new release has to go out so that it can be improved further. And if you're running a decent sized company or decent sized application and you want a lot of customization, let's say male should see something different, female should see something different, new age people should see something different, let's say a little older people should see something different, it is not optimized, because whenever you want to add a new cut, you have to release a new application and it will go through a release process, then an updation process, then an adoption process. Okay, and then the last is whatever you do, it has to be iterated across platforms, and whatever logic that you do is also has to be replicated across platforms. Okay, so what do you want to solve in a mobile application? What you want to solve is customization. Hey, some screens need very frequent updates, some screens need very frequent changes and very fast, so that you don't have to rely on mobile app releases. And some screen, a lot of things that are done in one screen, we should be able to do that in another screen. Now, if we further divide the definition of a mobile app, it is still UI and logic. The only thing is, what we can do is define it further. We define UI further by annotating all whatever you see in components and their order. So let's say in the application example, bytes that you're seeing, it's a value of a component. It has a value which is bytes. It's a green component. It has an order which is a 0th index. In terms of logic, let's say when I click on get started, if I click on it, a new screen will be open. So make another call and we get a response. This is the logic. I can define this by declaring action and rules. With me till now? Questions till now? Okay, I'll move forward. So if I had to repeat, if I have to power my entire application from server, which is not done currently, I have to have a spatial information, which is what is the X and Y coordinate. I have to render them. I have to know the order that people have to be rendered, or the components have to be rendered, the logic behind it, what will happen when I click on it, and what will be the value, exactly value, which needs to be passed. So this is the fundamental definition of a mobile application now, if it has to be driven by server. And this is what the entire system would look like. I'll only cover this set and not deep dive further, which is, imagine when you make an API call. Example, I'll take an example of a web page. I'll try to simplify it by, hey, let's say Facebook. I hope everybody has, let's say Instagram. Everybody here has Instagram? I hope.
Yes, sir.
Cool. So
Yes.
we'll take an example of how Instagram's feed works. Okay, I'll explain how.
So,
Yes, Priya. Okay, so everybody has Instagram feed. Instagram's feed is server driven. When you make an API call, a new response is received, and you always see the new post, correct?
yes, sir.
Okay, and Instagram can add new things in top of. Example, if you have threads, Instagram has the links to threads. Instagram also has some promotional post in that feed only, correct? So now let's imagine how that
Yes.
works. So you make an API call, so you're here, you're at the UI client. See, assume you're a UI client. You will make an API call, okay? Backend will receive that API call. What will backend do is it will go into the data source. Okay, hey, what is the raw data of post that this user wants to see? It will get it. It will check, okay, hey, if this user is a follower, following rules. Okay, hey, can I show it or not? All those rules will be stored in HDI config. It will get that. It will get the raw data source. It will do the processing, and it will return a final JSON or an XML for front end to consume, the mobile application to consume. Correct? This post information will be received by the renderer. Renderer will do what? It will understand. Okay, this is the depth of information that I have to show, and renderer doesn't understand if it is a post or if it is a profile. It doesn't care. It simply cares I have received the content. I have to render it, and it gives it to a design system. Design system is something very simple. You have further divided the entire UI that you want to see into small tokens, small values. It will be primary, secondary, the design palette. It will be the topography, which is the large, small, what is the exact value of the text size that you want to use, and then it will be the components. Okay, hey, what is the exact UI value that I want to show in a compound manner? The design system. It will give it to that. That guy will get the components and tokens and then create a screen, and that screen will be passed to page UI. You will have a renderer which will stack various pages on top of it in Instagram. So this is what happens when you click on one post. It takes you to another profile. You click on that profile, that takes you to a suggestion. You click on that suggestion, it takes you to another profile. This is how the stacking of profile is happening in Instagram. Now you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the entire server driven system. Okay, I'll skip through a lot of things because people are, this doesn't concerns you. So now if I have to say everything is server driven, and this is only made possible through declarative paradigm, which is only made possible in Flutter, React Native, React, and React Native. Only three options that you have, and now you have Jetpack Compose also, and you have SwiftUI also. So those are native components. So what is it is ideal for? It is ideal for all the internet driven pages. Okay. So if any page, can you, people on the call, can you give me examples apart from Instagram that you use? None of you use any applications? Okay, I have a tough audience. I'll take a guess. Just say if you have it or not. WhatsApp. Does everybody here has WhatsApp?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now think this: is WhatsApp completely internet driven?
So we can see things without internet too.
Hmm.
But if we want updates, like we want to load all the messages that we have got, we need internet.
Hmm. So WhatsApp is an hybrid application. You are correct. Yeah, it's not completely internet driven. What about Flipkart? Everybody here has Flipkart. Take a guess about Flipkart also. Anybody can take a guess.
It is completely online.
It is completely online. Okay. Uh, if you turn off your internet, it will show you there is no connection. You have to turn on your internet. Correct. So it's a large scale business running on it. Can you? Everybody here has used Amazon sometime.
Yes, sir.
Is it completely internet driven?
Yes.
Okay. Everybody here has used Paytm.
Yes, sir.
Is it completely internet driven?
Yes, sir.
No, actually. You cannot, it is not, because one of the feature which is scanning a QR, it is native feature.
What feature, sir?
You scan a QR, right?
Yeah.
Access to that feature is internet based, but core capabilities is on the client only. You need the camera for the app to work.
Yeah, got it.
Now everybody understand what is the difference between internet driven pages and client heavy pages? Example, your games are client heavy. Your tool to, let's say, beautify you for Instagram are client heavy. Everybody understands this now. In case you have a question, we'll not move further in case anybody has question about this. Okay, I'll repeat the definition. The pages which can be, the businesses which can be run purely by internet and no access to any hardware as a capability. It can be camera, Bluetooth, location. Location is actually internet driven subset of feature. Those apps are internet driven, other apps are not internet driven. So where is this declarative server-driven paradigm ideal? It is ideal for internet-driven pages. Example, your home page, your product page, your collection page, your landing page, your blogs, all these guys are internet-driven. What are the benefits? The same limitation which we mentioned earlier, which is you can test over the air. You can ship new flows. This is the core benefit. You can ship new flows without shipping a mobile application. And then you can also, because it is server driven, you can personalize based upon the information that you're getting from the mobile application, which is, let's say you get the gender is male or female. You get that information. Now because you are server driven, you can send UI based upon, hey, male should see this, female should see this, which is not, it is possible, but it's very difficult to do it in the native way of doing it. There are a lot of challenges also. We can skip that. Question is anyone using this? You have to talk to the history. This has been the history of front-end driven, server-driven UI. It started with LinkedIn, then Facebook adopted it, and Facebook released React Native. Then Flutter was released. Flutter was released on 2016. Then Airbnb actually adopted this as an infrastructure and released a very descriptive documentation for everybody to read in 2019. Based upon that documentation, companies like Flipkart and Swiggy adopted that so that they can ship over the server. And then so the tailwind happened to various other companies, and we started adopting this at one company in 2011, 21. Fair enough. Question is it worth it? Worth? Why do I say so? We already know how to build. A lot of people don't know, and they are new to it. Also, is it worth it for these companies? It is worth it because they have the time, they have the money, and they have the expertise to build it. Because you and me are independently very different, and we don't have all three. You might have a lot of brilliance, but there's a possibility that you're in college and you are not able to spend time. You might have that also, but there is a possibility that you might not have enough money to spend this much time apart from your studies. Okay, this is not a problem that an individual can solve. So what about everybody else? Can we not build server driven applications? Actually we can. That is why we started Digia. Okay, and we'll talk through the same journey. Then I'll talk about purely about how we did this using Flutter. So we built an entire platform of making mobile applications using Flutter. Okay, I'll showcase that only. My screen is visible to all?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. This is the same application that I created there. This is, if I go here, this is the same application that I created there. And this is built completely server driven using Flutter. In case you want to know the nuances, obviously I'll talk about it. So this is the creation part. Because it is server driven, I can simply press download APK. The APK will be downloaded, let's say, in the meanwhile. I've opened a emulator. Let me delete this existing APK. APK is almost ready. I'll drag and drop this APK here. It's getting installed. Let me open that. So as you can see, whatever is visible on the dashboard that we created, if you remember the definition, it was UI and logic. This is the UI, and this is the left hand pane, and right hand pane is the logic. Yeah, and this is a fully functional application. Whatever you can see here is possible here. Okay. Now, because we are server driven and because we are leveraging Flutter to write this declarative code, I can do this, which is not possible, which is GDSC Flutter platform. I'll create this page. Let's add a text to it. Simply say GDSC Flutter. Okay, I'll make this as the first page. Refresh. And the page is, as you can see, it is live here. Enlarge this so that you guys all can see. All of you can see this new page in your screens.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, because we are server driven, normally all of you get app updates, right? Whenever a company ships something, hey, there's a new update, please update the app, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so the same should be applicable here. But because we are server driven, all you can do is go on the app, the new flow is released immediately. So this is what is possible purely by leveraging Flutter as a platform and its declarative capabilities. I'll walk you through some of the building blocks now. Okay, not of this infrastructure. This is too complex to cover in one class. I'll cover about what does it takes to build a mobile application now. This I guess for the next 2 minutes, which is you create your building block. The first is the page that you create. Okay, the page that you are seeing is the building block. Then there are UI and UX. In UI, you need something like, hey, what do I want to show here? Let me add. These are components. So this is Flutter gives this as a library. You can simply go to Flutter widgets, and you can type, and you will get a widget catalog. You'll get all the components pre-built, and you can leverage them by using it on their mobile application. Second building block is the API call that you want to make, which is here. You can mention this in case you don't understand what is an API. API is basically how we talk to let's say a server. What is an API? If you talk this, you'll understand what is API, what are its type. Do read that. Everything that you see on the screen that I'm able to present is driven by an API. Okay. The third block is the design system. If you remember, I mentioned it earlier. This is a design system. In order to understand it further, Flutter itself has its own design system pre-built. You can go and read about it. Flutter design system. There are a lot of design system. Obviously, because Flutter is done by Google, as you can see, they already have Material 3 as at the base. The design is powered by Material 3 as a design system. You can read about it. So these are the building blocks. First is the UI, which is component. Second is the API, which is universal. Third is the design system. So we have covered layout, we have covered design. Then let's cover interactivity. Interactivity is once something is visible, what will happen if I click on it? There are two ways to go about it. A, you can either enter a data or you can take an action. Enter a data is covered by a form. A form can be, and I'm not purposely not covering a lot of nuances because this will be interest based and you can try it out yourself. You can enter it. You can enter something here. This is entry. Then there are gestures. Gestures basically this is something I want to do. Which is it can be if I click on here, go here. So this is a gesture that you're giving to the rendered system. So that is gesture. So these are inputs. This covers the interactivity. Then there are assets and media. Assets and media is whatever you see. Example, you will have a logo, you will have an image. You need to configure it. So we allow that by allowing you to upload media and assets. Normally, you do it by burning it in the mobile application. When you create a Flutter repo, I'll show you how to create a Flutter repo. You can use two ways. Either you use an Android Studio to go about it, or a Visual Studio. I'll recommend using Visual Studio because it is lighter. My system is more capable. That's why I'm using Android Studio. I'll recommend using this. If I go on this journey, let's take an example. GDSC. Let's take that as an example. Okay, so this is what you will get at the start, and I'll strongly recommend all of you do trying it. A lot of things are complicated because it takes some time to go there. But if I break down Flutter, it is components, the layout that you see. Second is the data resources that you see. Third is the theming. Fourth is the asset. That's it. These and everything, a combination of these four is a mobile application. Okay. In order to build it, all you need to do, whenever you build it, either using Visual Studio or using Android Studio, the moment you press run, it's a function application that they give it to you. I'll showcase that also. Cool. Meanwhile, while this is getting built, questions by the audience. None. Okay. So as you can see, building application on the client side takes decent amount of time. That's why we built Digia as a studio. In case you want access to it, simply go on digia.tech. In case you want to simplify it, just join the waitlist. You will get a personalized link through which you will get access. I'm simply waiting for this to build. Even on my good configured system, it will take some time. I'll take questions meanwhile. Vinita, you have a question? What did you understand, Vinita? Let's start from there. Let's backtrack. And this is not a question. What are the four building blocks of a mobile application? First is layout. Second is data source. Third is theming. Fourth is assets. This is clear? Now, whenever you see any mobile application, you will think it as a combination of four things. What is the layout? What is the API call that it is making? What is the design system? And what are the assets that it is using to showcase me the screen that I am seeing? Example, if you look at the Google call that we are having, now apply the same four principles here. What are the components? The box that you see, correct? What is the API? meet.google.com that you are calling. Correct. What is the theming? As you can see, there is a certain border radius to the mute button. There is a certain rounded corner to the box also. Correct. And what are the assets? As you can see, people who have their phones or video, who don't have their video on, you can see their images. Correct. And Google fetch these assets from their Google profile. So every single UI that you see at a framework level, so what are its building block? Either through Flutter, Android, iOS, it doesn't matter, is a combination of these four. Cool. Renu, what did you understand? Component. Renu is typing. Yes. Renu सिंह की मैं चारों लिख दूंगी, पूछने का नहीं मुझसे. ठीक है. Few people are left. People will not take. There are a lot of good, handsome and beautiful people that I'm not able to see. There is Honey, Khushi, Komal, Pravrti, Priyanka, Rashika, Renu, Shakti, Shubhangi, Soumya, Vinita. Vinita, last 3 minutes. In case you have questions, please ask.
सर अगर एंड्रॉयड ऐप बनाना हो तो उसके लिए क्या टूल्स और लैंग्वेजेस लर्न करने होंगे?
अगर आपको Android app बनानी है तो I strongly recommend only learning Flutter. Everybody who is in this call, I strongly recommend please only learn Flutter. I have spent 10 years and I speak from my professional experience. This is my professional advice. Okay, learn Flutter. It is very simple to learn Dart. Dart as a language. In case you understand JavaScript, it will be very easy for you. In case you don't, JavaScript is very easy. And Dart is hence Dart is also. So you need to learn Dart. You need to install Visual Coder. You need to install Flutter tool in Visual Studio, and that is it.
Sir, like we are working on computer vision programs. Then we want to be convert that Android application.
What do you want? What do you want out of that application? Is it making an API call to get that information, or do you want some processing to be done on the hardware?
Simply Android application we see on phones
No, no. So
using API.
I gave you a good definition, right? What is it? Internet driven or is it client driven? Do you need any capability by the?
Sir,
Do you need any
client driven,
capability
not
by?
internet driven.
So it's very. The journey is very different then. Journey is very different then. What do you need? In case you want to just drop me a message on LinkedIn. Priya might share on a channel and give me your requirements very specifically. I might be able to help you, give you steps how to go about it. Okay. And very, very, very articulate about it. Okay, hey, this is what I want to get done. These are the things that I have already built. These are the things that I don't know. Okay, Meera? Cool. Rashika, do you have a question? No. So the last couple of minutes, guys. In case you have question, please shoot.
So I also want to ask something.
Sure.
I am the someone who is currently studying Flutter as a part of GE subject. So could you have any advice for the students like myself who are learning Flutter within an academic settings?
Okay. Build something. That is the only advice. Build something.
Okay.
That is the only advice. Only thing that you will ever take away that nobody will be able to take away from you is you build something. Don't whatever you have read, either using you already on part of Digia, either using Digia's tool or doing yourself, build something.
Okay.
That will be my only advice, because if I'm interviewing you, let's say per se, my entire questions will be around what did you build, how did you build it, do you actually build it? That's it. My questions are not around key, tell me this API, tell me that API, do me this logic. I'm simply verifying is this person genuine enough to get something shit done. So that will be my only advice. Either you build a simple app for your community that you host, build an app for that. It will force you to do something. Plan it, design it, either through Canva or Figma, get that done. Then port it to either DJ or let's say do it yourself from scratch. Build something. That will be my only advice.
Okay, sir. All right, everyone. If anyone has any questions, so please ask.
Yeah, I'm here for a couple of more minutes. I'll wait for a couple of minutes. I'm more than happy to be here. Let me be honest. My career changed through a seminar like this. I don't know if yours changed, honestly, but I am very keen to contribute. So, in case you have question, please ask.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Praveen.
Sir, my question is that I started a project using Flutter and a to-do app, a normal to-do app. I made that, but I didn't got confidence to continue in Flutter. Could you please
Why?
suggest what would be what should I take? What measures should I take? मतलब कि आगे कैसे proceed करें?
Understand the
Actually,
building blocks. What are the four building blocks of a mobile applications?
सर एक्चुअली जो मैंने टू डू ऐप बनाया था उसमें बहुत सी चीज़ें थी जो कि शायद मैं जानती भी नहीं थी, मैंने पढ़ा भी नहीं था।
हो सकता है,
एक्चुअली
तो
मैंने
ऐसा हो सकता है कि आपने गिटहब से कहीं से आपको फ्लटर का कोड मिल गया होगा, आप चला के देख रहे हो कि चलो इसको बना के देखते हैं। मैंने भी किया।
सर गिटहब से तो नहीं था, बट यूट्यूब से था। बट यस हाँ, बट उसमें सारी चीज़ें इतनी अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन नहीं थी कि क्यों हम ये कोई भी फंक्शन जो यूज़ कर रहे हैं क्यों यूज़ कर रहे हैं, और कैसे यूज़ मतलब इसका कहाँ पे काम आ रहा है, कैसे हमारी यूआई चेंज हो जा रही है उससे। तो ये सब
कौन
चीज़ें।
कौन से ईयर में आप प्रवृत्ति?
सर सेकेंड ईयर।
तब आपके पास बहुत टाइम अच्छे से सीखने के लिए, लकीली you have decent amount of time, there is no rush. This is what I suggest in terms of going about it. Start with tutorial point. There is a website, free website called as tutorial point, okay, which lists
ओके
down
सर।
all the APIs and explains it in English or how they go about it. Then create one screen. By one screen I mean simply one screen, show an image. Then create another screen which shows a list view of this image. Then create a third screen which shows this list, and when you click on this list you open a web page. Go through this iterative journey and you will learn it. If you want to skip all of that, come to Digia and you can do it yourself on the dashboard itself.
सर माय क्वेश्चन इज़ दैट कि एक और क्वेश्चन है कि हाउ डिड यू स्टार्टेड अबाउट डीजिया, मतलब कैसे दिमाग में
Sure.
आया कि एक
The
न्यू
problem
प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज
statement.
इंट्रोड्यूस करते हैं। इतना
Sure.
हमारे दिमाग में नहीं आता कि हम एक प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज इंट्रोड्यूस कर दें। हाउ डिड इट केम इन योर
So
माइंड?
if I have to explain, this is not a programming language. That yes, there is something proprietary, which is a DSL. DSL is a domain specific language in terms of term that we have created. That is very unique to Digia. So we have created a very subset of a language. So in a way, we have created online Flutter. Flutter is done by Visual Studio or on Android Studio or on Visual Studio. We have created, okay, you can do it on DJ Studio. That's why we call it DJ Studio, which is you can do it on the dashboard. Why did we do it? Because we realized for enterprise specifically, not for honestly for you guys, especially for companies who are running business out of it, they need to keep pushing mobile applications again and again, and we as users completely download them. But problem is that process takes around 1.5 months to get completed. Imagine आज आपने कुछ भेजा, अगर आपके लाखों यूजर्स हैं तो 1.5 महीने के बाद पता चलेगा कि सबको अच्छा लगा कि नहीं लगा.
यस सर।
And we want to short circuit the entire thing and bring it in one day, and if done well, immediately. Priya and Renu have experienced it, so they can comment. In case you want to try, simply go and join the playtest. So that is the reason. And why did I create a language? Very simply put, this is an act of passion. I can say this is an act of passion. I love front end so much that I was just not able to be okay with the fact that कि इतनी मेहनत लगती है, इतना मुश्किल हो चुका है ऐप बनाना. इंडिपेंडेंट कैपेसिटी में ऐप बना के रिलीज करना अगर एक बच्चे ने किया है, I was lucky enough to do it when I was a student, because same again it was an act of passion. It's very very difficult. Even if you opt for Flutter, you need to know so many things. I haven't
यस सर।
purposely mentioned a lot of Flutter jargons. I could have mentioned it. I'll take a crack at it. Once you learn that, you need to understand Flutter libraries. Once you do that, you need to understand how PubSpec works. Once you do that, you need to understand how to write readmes, changelog. Then you need to understand what is the release process, how to sign them. Then what is the
यस सर।
manifest.
यस सर।
You need to add permission. All those needs to be in place so that you will reach your first application.
यस सर।
So that is why I wanted to short circuit all of that. Okay, just focus on the 4 components, which is what is the UI that you want to see, what is the design system, what are the assets, and what is the data source. And if people are able to just configure that, and I can take care of everything else, people will be able to build mobile application very
Sir,
fast.
how Digia is different from other languages?
Digia's underlying platform is Flutter. How it is different is uh,
In terms of coding or in all these matters?
it is very functional. Everything is very functional. There are various paradigms also, functional paradigm and class-based paradigms. You'll read about it as you grow. when you read Java or when you read C++, these are class-based paradigm. Objects बनते हैं, objects के अंदर जैसे inheritance होता है, inheritance के अंदर functions होते हैं जो कि propagate होते हैं. तो Digia is not built like that because computation power अच्छी हो चुकी है world में. We are very functional. Example, if you want to compute something, that logic is binded here. Now this logic can be used by anybody in the entire sphere. एग्जाम्पल टू स्ट्रिंग हो गया या फिर अपर केस हो गया, ये फंक्शन है तो इसके लिए मुझे स्ट्रिंग क्लास की जरूरत नहीं है. टू स्ट्रिंग कैन इंडिपेंडेंटली टेक एन इनपुट एंड कम लेट्स से आइदर कन्वर्टेड टू स्ट्रिंग और टू अपर केस कैन इंडिपेंडेंटली टेक एन इनपुट एंड कन्वर्टेड टू an upper case. And this logic I don't need a string class to do it. I can use this logic and apply it everywhere on any single person who wants it in the ecosystem. That's how we are different in terms of coding paradigm.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good questions, Pavitri. I'm happy to answer a couple of more questions. We still have 2 minutes.
Sir, one more request is that I want to meet you in any offline session if I would get any opportunity to meet you.
Priya might schedule that in your college. If that's the case, I'm more than happy to come and teach Flutter in depth.
Definitely.
Cool.
All right.
I'll take everybody's name just for the sake of it. Okay. I'll take everybody's name. I'm very patient and in case you have a question, you will get a chance. ताकि आप जाके ये ना बोल पाए मुझसे तो बात ही नहीं की. ठीक है. अक्षिता पवार, आपके पास कोई क्वेश्चन है? ठीक है. अनादि देवी, आपके पास कोई क्वेश्चन है? दीक्षा, आपके पास कोई क्वेश्चन है? हनी कुमार, आपके पास कोई क्वेश्चन है? खुशी पनवर, आपके पास कोई क्वेश्चन है? ठीक है. कोमल यादव, आपके पास कोई क्वेश्चन है? प्रियंका नेगी, आपके पास कोई क्वेश्चन है? नो सच क्वेश्चंस. नाइस. रशिका नहीं. शुभांगी, आपके पास? लास्ट 2. सौम्या, आपके पास? विनीता, आपके पास? नाउ आई हैव कवर्ड द लिस्ट. यू गाइस कैन नॉट कंप्लेन एवर कि मुझे चांस नहीं मिला है. सो आई हैव डन माय जॉब. In case you want to stay connected, just drop me hi on LinkedIn. Ask purposeful question. I'm more than happy to answer purposeful questions. Okay. Example: I was part of India regionals. People are still asking me questions. कि sir ये मैं सही कर रहा हूँ. I'm more than happy to answer them. Take me as a guide. You can ask me questions. In case you are serious and to learn cloud-based mobile application development, simply go and join the waitlist. You'll get access. In terms of experience, you can ask the same in person with Priya or they are both part of it. Thanks, guys. Thanks for a wonderful 1 hour. Thanks, Priya, for organizing this, and thanks Renu and Vinita, Pavitri, and a lot of other guys for being a support. Take care. Priya, over to you.
Okay, what an enlightening session it has been. On the behalf of GDSC SRCASW, I'd like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to Anupam sir for his invaluable insight and to all of you for your active participation. Remember, learning doesn't stop here. Let's keep momentum going, continue exploring and building amazing things with Flutter. Stay connected with SRCASW and events for workshop and events and opportunity to grow together as a community. Until next time, keep coding, keep innovating, and keep soaring high. Thank you all and have a fantastic day ahead.
Thanks, Priya. Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Now
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, so much.